using a lot of the parameters of what Dr. V taught me. And as far as what I'm doing now, 8.5 years later, I'm definitely using the 7 essentials, and I'm currently NED, no evidence of disease. It's been over 2 years since I've been like that. So it's an absolute miracle I'm alive. But I definitely try to follow all of her principles, reducing the amount of radiation I'm exposed to with EMFs, eating well, I deal with my emotions. I mean, there's so much great material in what she has to teach that I try to live it all, basically. Aloha, my name is Tara Coyote. I live in Kauai, Hawaii. I am a published author, and I also work with people with horses, and I also have a mermaid school here on Kauai. I was diagnosed in September 2016, so it's been many, many years now. But when I was diagnosed, I was living in Northern California, and I owned a horse retreat center called Wind Horse Sanctuary. So I would do workshops and private sessions, people with horses at that time. And I lived a fairly great life. And then breast cancer came along and knocked me off my tracks a bit, like it does most people. Well, when I was diagnosed, it was a car had hit me. It was like a deer in the headlights sort of thing. And I was so overwhelmed. And I had so many people, family and friends in the medical industry telling me what they thought I should do for treatment. And I had always been a natural girl, hadn't really been to the doctor much. And I stumbled across Dr. V's book about a month after I was diagnosed on Amazon, and I immediately ordered her book and just completely resonated with it. And it was like, okay, this is the answer. So I reached out to her and I signed up for coaching, and it was a wonderful experience to be with people, my coach and her organization, that I felt like could meet me with what I needed personally. And they also gave me a lot of emotional support too, which was very important, because going through breast cancer can be incredibly overwhelming on so many levels. When I read about the 7 essentials, it was just like, okay, yeah, she's addressing all the different levels, mind, body, spirit. And it really, really resonated with me on a deep level. I especially love the working with your emotions. Actually, my best friend had just died from leukemia 1 year before I was diagnosed, and it was very tragic, and as you can imagine. So for me to see the emotions being looked at was like a key of, okay, yeah, she's on the right track, because I knew that my emotions and the incredible amount of grief I was holding after her death was attributing to the fact of why I was diagnosed. Well, because of the trauma around my best friend's death, I'd been with her for many months in the hospital. And I had a lot of trauma about being in the hospital, and I wasn't the type of person to go to the hospital anyways. So I really resonated with her program and the natural approach, and I just dove in and I pretty much tried everything. The standard route of treatment they wanted me to do is chemo, surgery, radiation. I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, and I just decided to do my own path and just trusted Dr. V and everything she offered. And it was, I think, a really good decision to take care of myself, because it was approached from a place of like love and care. Whereas unfortunately, the interactions I had in the hospital system in Northern California, it was a lot of bullying, and which was very unfortunate, and it really turned me off. I definitely recommend it. I mean, I think it's a very holistic, full approach, mind, body, spirit. It talks about healthy food and living healthy, whereas unfortunately, in the medical system, when you're diagnosed, they don't talk about food. I mean, I talked to an oncologist when I was diagnosed just to ask him. I said, so can I eat anything healing cancer? He's like, yeah, eat whatever you want. And there was no talk about eating vegetables or not eating sugar. And I think her program, Dr. V's program, is very proficient with a full way of addressing what you need to do to help heal cancer, and also a preventative way of living to stay healthy in general. So I would recommend it to everybody, whether they're going through cancer or not.